Hey folks, check out my new book, Class of 86, available now on Amazon. Just click the link in the comments and in the description. Plus, come see me July 22nd and 23rd, where I'll have books to sign at the Peoria Comic and Toy Show. Hope to see you there.
Well, that was a short ad. I don't know why I needed to take time out to put that there at all. This is a live stream. I could just... And in fact, it would probably be better if I just did a short promo right now, because the ad it has at the beginning still has the watermark on there for the proof copies, but I did just get my author copies in the mail without the watermark on it, and with page numbers too. So that's nice. That's an absolute bonus. Sorry, I am running. Oh, let's see. Not quite 10 minutes late. 9 minutes late. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I sat down and was like, oops, forgot my coffee. Then went to go make my coffee, so I better take a sip. I better take a sip of it right now, considering that's one of the reasons I'm late. So I got my coffee, sat down, then was like, oh right, I got a crap. So then I went to go do that. Hopefully I'm drinking out of the right cup. Anyway, after that highbrow joke, let's talk about my child's name. I see you in the chat. I see you all making several guesses. Jared's in the chat right now. Say hi to Jared. And of course, Jared left a message there in the chat saying, you're going to name the kid Jared, aren't you? To which my question is, would he be more mad if the baby's name wasn't Jared, or more angry if it is Jared but spelled differently? His is Jerrid. If we went J-E or Jared, or just to be a dick, spell it kind of like Jared's Jerrid, but with one R. Just to be my child's name based solely on me trolling my friend. No, his sorry, Jared, his name isn't Jared. Maybe the next one. So anyway, we've actually had the name picked for quite a while, and get your super chat question. We've already have a few super chats in there. I put up the alert on this quite a few hours ago. I think it was like 11 a.m. my time. I'm in Central Time, so not quite 12 hours, but almost. There was already a couple of super chats in there. I was like, wow, did I accidentally set the wrong time? But no, Campbellzilla, I think he's at work right now, so he got his super chats in early, and I assume he'll watch this later on. Otherwise, he's just listening to me answer the questions in spirit. But I had to do an episode where we actually mentioned what our baby's name is, because just in case I just accidentally say what it is. I'm surprised I haven't done that sooner, because like I said, we have had this picked for quite a while. I think I did do an episode on this where we were talking, where I told the story about finding out what the sex of the baby is, even though I think there were a couple of episodes prior where I did say he. It's going to be I don't know where about in me rambling the child's name will be. But I hope it's kind of like when I do Brad Tries or movie reviews in a live stream, where the Good Samaritan will be in the comments and just be like, he says the name of the baby here. It will happen. And kudos. It is very convenient where people just want to know the child's name and head on out and watch me review Rat's Night of Terror or Slaughter High. That is your homework, to watch those two movies before you get to my book, Class of 86. So we didn't settle on the name right away. It was, I mean, of course, we were going back and forth on some different names. We found out the sex, early enough to where we were mainly waiting to talk more about names after finding out if we were going to have a boy or a girl. So it's not like we had a giant list of girl names. I think we had like a few just from some light conversations, and I wish Laura was here right now. I can't even remember what some of them were. Ask her that later on. I'll do that. I'll wake her up specifically to answer that question. So anyway, so there were some names that I liked. Is her not so much. Some that I liked, but knew there was like not a chance in hell that like even though I liked him, like I can't do that to my son. He hasn't even been born yet. Talked a little bit about this last week, where there were people in the chat making guesses. Which go ahead, feel free to make some more guesses. I wrote down a couple of them from when I made this post from people chatting in there before I went live. Like, yeah, for instance, I really like the name James. I really like Jim. I like Jimmy, but my last name is Jones. I can't do that. You know how popular the Stuart Whitman classic Guyana Cult of the Damned movie is with the kids. Can't send my son off to school with the constant electrodes to the nuts jokes. Kids are tough. They watch a lot of exploitation movies from the 70s. And I think there was that movie might have been based on a true story or something. Laura said Henry at one point. I like the name Henry, but of course my mind, which I'm sure your minds instantly went to this too. I instantly said to her, I go like, that's Indiana Jones's name. Or I guess his dad's name, but senior, junior. So, well, that would mean, let's see, if we named him Henry Jones Jr. for no reason to add the junior in there, he'll grow up, and we don't have a dog, but maybe he'd grow up to be an architect and start going by Lloyd. Lloyd Jones in the Temple of Doom. Yeah. So I said, if that's Indiana Jones's name, and Laura goes, no one knows that. I go, people know that. She's like, oh, you and your obscure references. I'm like, it's not that obscure. I go, everyone who knows us, and a high percentage of people who watch us know that's like Indiana Jones's name and his dad's name. They'll think that we named him after Indiana Jones. So, I mean, I love Indiana Jones, but I was like, that wouldn't be the intent of us naming him that. I just kind of like the name Henry. I like, it's sort of like, I really like the name George a lot, but I was like, oh, yeah, George Jones, the country singer. That'll look like, I mean, I guess not a lot of people would maybe catch that reference, but I would. But that was kind of a moot point anyway, because Laura didn't like the name George. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's out. I could have been cool with Tom Jones. I could be cool with that. Spontaneously doing like the It's Not Unusual dance. I could be all right with that. There could be other, he could go by Tommy, Tommy Lee Jones. That I could have been fine with. Laura didn't like the name Tom, so that was out. There was one name early on that was kind of it. That pretty much was like to the point to where it was like, okay, we're in love with this. That's totally cool. We dig it. It even kind of got to where we were even referring to him as this. So I had actually kind of thought it was settled. And then Laura goes, well, I still want to go through the whole process of looking at, every single name in the book. And I get that, certainly. I totally do. But internally, I was like sweating bullets to where I was like, oh my gosh, this name that we had picked, it's so perfect. I hope it doesn't go by the wayside for something not as good. So there was a little bit where Laura was suggesting some other names, and some of them I couldn't tell if she was messing with me. to the point to where I like even said that at one point, and I apologize if any of these are your name. I apologize. So let's see. There was one where it was she goes, what about Phineas? I'm like, sure, if we want him to speak in a lot of rhymes, spontaneously erupt into song, maybe that'll work, sure. And she said, what about Gus? I'm like, if you give birth to him and he's a duck, sure, yeah, Gus might actually work for that. She's like, oh, what about Atticus? Like, I think that might have been when I was like, I can't tell if you're fucking with me. These are all names that end in the same two letters. Did you hit this point in the book? I don't know why it would be categorized like this, unless it's called the messing with your husband section. I will get to. Let me go ahead and do this right now as well. There were some of them in the chat that I liked. There was, let's see, Big Jim. I enjoy. That was suggested last week. I got a really good laugh out of that. Big Jim. Oh, clearly named after everyone's favorite John Wayne movie, Big Jim McClane. Everyone knows that one. I certainly do. It's been on my snob list for like 10 years. The same kids who pick on him about Guyana Cult of the Damned will pick on him for Big Jim McClane. I liked, let's see, someone suggested Nukie Jones. And then I thought, Nuclear Jones isn't that bad. Nukie, short for nuclear? Or could be also be short for nuclear. Either of them works as kind of a cool name. Nuclear Jones, that's okay. It kind of sounds like a trauma blaxploitation movie. That is a cool thing about having the last name Jones. It can make for a good blockbuster franchise character like Indiana Jones, or kick-ass exploitation character too. Like Cleopatra Jones. One of the names suggested in the chat was Pigpen Jones. I kind of like that. Almost like a nice little nod to how I lived before meeting Laura and getting married. I could have gone by Pigpen Jones. I solve crimes when I'm not cleaning up trash around the house, or when I say I'm cleaning up trash around the house. But it wasn't really when I was by myself. I had things to do. I had exploitation movies to watch. I had jokes to watch. I had movies to go see at midnight. I don't have time to pick up this McDonald's wrapper. Let me look at the chat right now to see what any of the newer ones are. Wow, this is scrolling really, really fast. Saul Jones. I saw that earlier. I saw someone mention Saul Jones. That way, when he's out of his terrible twos, you can change it to Paul Jones. Some biblical humor there for you after my trauma humor. Sam Jones, yeah, Sam Jones. Named after the actor, but named after him in honor of his role as Carmen's partner in the Carmen cop film Riot. Yeah, Carmen Jones would kind of work. Although that's Dave's niece's name, so that might not work. Brad Jones Jr. You will be everything I tried to be, but better. No, it's not Brad Jones Jr. Oh, well, someone just cut to the chase and said Harrison Ford Jones. Yeah, everyone's going to think Henry Jones is just me referencing Indiana Jones. Granted, yeah, one of my favorite movie characters of all time, but I don't know if I want to name him Henry Jones. I got it. Harrison Ford Jones. So, one person just said E.T. the video game. Let's see, just kind of scrolling here through some more. Cinema Snob Jr. Not even Brad Jr., just Cinema Snob Jr. 80s Dan Jr. Kung Tai Ted Jones. Actually, come to think, I'll mention this here in a second when I'm at. I'll mention this here in a second when I do say what the name is. I was scrolling through here. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Seeing a lot of hilarious ones. It's not Lloyd. Or Chloe. It's not Tequila or Benetti. It's Tequila and Benetti. Okay, I'll go ahead and say what it is. So, Bubba Jones. John Jones, you're close. John Jones is my uncle's name. Fox Jones. Again, that's not bad. That's not bad. He has, with the last name Jones, kind of doesn't matter what his first name is. He could just pick something cool as a nickname, like I said, and just go with that. The first name could very much be a placeholder. It won't be Richard Jones either, because whenever he gets in trouble and I make a Dick Jones reference from RoboCop, he will get very tired of that movie and very tired of me saying, "Dick, I'm very disappointed. Dick, you're fired!" Just over and over again every single day. I'll still love the movie for eternity. The boy will grow up hating it. My wife will start hating it. Oops. All right. When I start to spill my coffee, that's God's way of saying get to the point. Okay. My son's name is drum roll. It's Jack. Jack Jones. Jack Jones, because I feel like Jack Jones, one, it makes sense. This is what I was going to say. Not named after a character I played, though. I played a character in a movie in 2005 named Jack Stone. So I have played a Jack in a movie before, but that's not what I was thinking of. My son is not named after this obscure character I played that was a snuff filmmaker. If that's the creative route he wants to go down, wouldn't be my top choice. I just at least hope there's decent visual quality, good audio quality, and lighting, more so than I had when I was making movies in the 2000s. So yeah. Jack Jones. The second I heard it, I loved it. I just always loved the name Jack anyway. I love the name Jack. I love saying the name Jack. Some of my favorite actors, Jack. Whenever you see someone with the name Jack, it makes sense. Their name is Jack. I want that to be my son, born into this world with a leg up in the world to where he could be high-powered, just extremely powerful, intelligent attorney Jack Jones. Or if he's a criminal with a name like that, he will be very wealthy before he gets caught. So that'll be nice. That means he probably did a lot better in school than me. So you could see where my head was at, where that was pretty much what we picked. And then Laura was like, well, let me look through to just get the full list down, and then was saying Gus, Phineas, and Atticus. You could see where my head was at, being like, can't tell if you're messing with me. This is turning into the episode of Scrubs where Dr. Cox really wanted the name Jack and was just saying it to the baby. Jack, 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 Jack. Until, that'd be the baby's first word. Like, so yeah, Jack Jones is his name. I like it. I dig it. Wish my name was Jack Jones. No, I'm kidding. But it is cool. It's like Jack Jones, he has the potential to be very, very, very Fonzie level cool in school. One of those other silly names I mentioned. It's the difference between being the push-e or the pusher in the pool of mud. Oh, I do like someone in the chat, though, just saying, just Jones. That's true, yeah. That works as a reference and not a reference. I think it might be a reference to Will and Grace. But even if it's not, that's still a funny joke anyway. As for the middle name, I won't say it yet. Like, Laura's got a couple that she's like pretty close to in terms of picking like the middle name. She pretty much knows what it's going to be, to the point to where we're kind of already assuming that's what the middle name will be. But you don't know. Like, it could, something else could kind of come up, so I won't say it yet. I won't build a whole episode around me saying, so, welcome to Guess the Middle Name. It's this. Bye. Jack the See, now people are going, Jack the Hammer Jones, Jack the Fist Jones, Jack Napier Jones. I like that. Jackie Brown Jones. That's not bad. Jack the Man Jones. Well, that's just redundant. A name like Jack Jones, he is already the man. My son's name is Jack Jones. He hasn't been born yet. He is already a million times cooler than I am. Which is what I want. I don't want a clone of myself or whatever, or anything like that. I don't want that. I don't want that. Like, I want him to be, more successful in a lot of ways. I mean, mainly in terms of like, I hope he's more into education than I was. When I was out of high school, I was pretty much done. I tried doing college. I did, but I was way more interested in partying. I barely ever went to class. I just drank all the time, partied all the time. I could never just pay attention. I mean, I had even when I was in grade school and all that, I had trouble paying attention anyway with my ADHD ass. I did. My career as a student kind of hit all levels, in that when I was in grade school, I was not a good student at all. Trouble paying attention, trouble focusing, all that, your typical ADD stuff. Then when I was on medication in junior high, I was on the honor roll, so that helped quite a bit. Then I think I went off of it after that, and I was an average student in high school. I was okay, not great, but not bad. I was an okay student in high school. Then after that, no, I was done. I was done with schooling everything. So, I hope he takes more of an interest in that than I did. Maybe I could go back to school and I don't know, learn how to take a class, learn how to make a cake or something. I've just got that on my mind anyway because Laura and I watch a lot of cooking shows. So, okay, let me go ahead and get to the super chat questions in here. I know Campbellzilla's not in here right now, but I'll be nice and answer his questions anyway. Because if I didn't, I would just be an asshole. All right. Phone fell off of the little stand, quote unquote stand that I have right now. Okay, let me know if you can see me. Sorry about that, people. And now I know what'll happen when the thing unplugs and I plug it back in. It looks like it's okay. Let me keep the chat up here for a little bit. Keep the chat up here for a little bit so I can I'm getting, whenever something like that happens, I get a gauge. To give you a reference, I'm just now seeing people mention this in the chat. My phone camera falling off. So that's the delay right there. So, okay, let me stall for time for a second here and not touch anything else. I would have thought it would have been the cats to be the first one to where that happens. Again, like I said, that it is funny when that happens. So, we can all kind of sort of catch up to each other in real time, but not really. Let me know if slightly move this over to where let's not have that happen again. I'm moving my laptop over right now. Steady, easy does it. Okay, can you guys see me right now? They don't care. They stopped looking at me a long time ago. Now they're still guessing or picking middle names. They probably, people in the chat, they probably don't even know that anything silly just happened. Okay, they can see me. All right, Cool. All right, now I can get to the super chat questions. Okay, Campbellzilla goes, would you ever consider doing snob episodes on the Psycho films, including the 1987 Bates Motel TV pilot? I've thought about that. I really have. A couple of them I talked about briefly. In 1960 in film, I talked about the first one. And then in 1983 in film, I talked about the second one, which was cool to do. Because Psycho 2 is super underrated. It is like so much better than it has any right to be, especially in 1983, which was a bad year for sequels, to where I can only think of one or two. Maybe there was two. There's bad sequels in 83 that are totally watchable, but not good, really, in terms of living up to the quality of what came before it. But Psycho 2, on the other hand, is excellent. Like, I do really dig the tone it takes about really, first of all, Anthony Perkins is phenomenal in it. It's one of his best performances as Norman Bates, as a guy who he's released 20 some years later, and he is trying, like legit trying to get his life back together and find some semblance of normalcy in dealing with his shit. And then, you know, his past coming back and fucking with him and all that. It's got a great ending. It does. I would dig doing the Psycho movies. I do kind of remember liking 3, but I only saw it once. That was when I was in high school. 4, I kind of liked okay, just for like Henry Thomas playing like in the flashbacks the young Norman Bates. But again, it's been a long time since I've seen it. The Bates Motel TV series, yeah, I would totally do that. It's not even in continuity with the other sequels. It's, from what I remember, let's see, it's Bud Cort, and I think Lori Petty is in it. And it's kind of like, isn't it like it's like 2 episodes? It's supposed to be like a pilot, but it's like almost like 2 episodes in one. And then at the beginning, I think Norman Bates is still in the hospital and dies, maybe. I can't remember, but it's like not in continuity with the others, or even the book sequel too, I think. Let's see. Campbellzilla also says, oh, I have you seen the shot on video biopic Jeffrey Dahmer, The Secret Life, written by and starring Carl Crew of Gross Out? I have. I saw that. I saw it not long after it hit video, because it came to video not long after Jeffrey Dahmer was caught. Like, I think it was thrown into production pretty quick. So I remember our video store having it. And to tell you how early this thing came out, at the end of it, it was made before Jeffrey Dahmer died. So at the end, it just has a blurb that says something like, he's serving life sentences and is in jail now. I'm like, okay, maybe if it's the Demolition Man continuity, I guess. So no, I've seen this. It's it's definitely an exploitation. It's better than Gross Out. Yeah, Carl Crew, he was in and he wrote Gross Out. He plays Dahmer in this. The violence in it is effective. It's very effective because of its small budget and how gritty and grainy it looks. Like, that does give it a pretty big edge in terms of the kind of movie that it is. The dialogue's not very good. The acting's kind of hit or miss from what I remember. I should maybe spotlight that sometime if I could do something like that on YouTube. I don't know if I could. I could back in the Blip days when I did Guyana. And it's like I've talked about Guyana Cult of the Dead on this episode more so than I have my son's name. That's just how these live streams go. You want to talk about son's name? You end up with the Stuart Whitman movie where he plays Reverend Jim Jones. Ooh, I'm sorry, James Johnson. See? If the kids at the school are bullying him because of Guyana Cult of the Damned, that means they're idiots. His name would be Jim Jones, not James Johnson, like it was in that movie. Surprised it took me that long to remember that. James Johnson. That was one of the most hilarious things about that movie. Yeah, I have seen that. Jeffrey Dahmer, The Secret Life. I would probably rather watch it than the Netflix one that came out that was like half great, half. The first half of it was great. The second half of it was padded and terrible and super freaking repetitive. So the Carl Crew one, it's consistent, and it's shorter than 8 or 10 episodes of a show. Green Room 1988 says, "Hey Brad, congratulations on the baby boy." Thank you. Have you seen Miami Connection? Could make for a good snob episode. I agree. It is a snob episode. Yeah, I did a snob episode on that a while ago. I don't remember if it was the Blip days. It might, you know what? I think it might have been the Blip days when I did Miami Connection, because if I remember right, that was like a re-upload when I did upload it to YouTube. It should be on YouTube. It should, unless it's going through some copyright thing right now that I'm unaware of. But the Miami Connection episode should be on YouTube. If not, go to thecinemasnob.com and it should be over there. Yeah, that was fun to do. Double Toasted has a really good episode on that too. No, that was, yeah, it's Miami Connection, so it's hilarious, and a lot of material comes with that movie. Daniel Vasquez. Oh, I did a cameo request for you today or yesterday. Yesterday, I think. Hey, Brad, thanks for doing my cameo request. You're welcome. Love hearing movie theaters in the past and your stories. Hope to hear more. So, Daniel sent me a cameo request over on our Cameo page. He was asking me about some different movie theater stories. One of the things he asked too was what our mall theater looked like. We had a 5-screen in White Oaks Mall in Springfield, Illinois. And as soon as I stopped recording, I was like, oh, I should have mentioned this. It's just a minor detail. I'm kind of glad you asked me this question. It's just a minor detail because you asked me what the theater looked like. And I said, it's very standard. Not a giant screen, not a small screen. It was a 5-screen, and every single one of them was like the same size. It was just like a theater, generic theater. It's in a mall. There was nothing. They didn't really, it was built to be serviceable and to show movies, not really to have any kind of style. But if you want to know what like the seating was like in it, it was one of those where it was they were pretty narrow, and it was one of those theaters where the aisle was like directly in the middle. So you had a directly in the middle aisle, and then about 7 or 8 seats in a row on either side. That sounds about right. 7, I think. So that's kind of what it looked like. Just your very typical theater. That was the White Oaks Mall theater. Because it was at the mall, I saw a lot of stuff there. Doctober goes, will you be at Peoria Con all day, and will you sell books? Oh, yeah. I'll be at, that's the con I got coming up this weekend, the Peoria Comics and Toy Convention. My buddy Jeremiah is running it, so it'll be great seeing those guys again. And yeah, I'll be there all weekend. I got a panel Saturday? One of the days I have a panel. It's a panel about me, and a couple other people are doing a panel about bad movies. And yeah, I've got... I was so happy. Like my author books came in the mail. They came on time too. My author copies came in on time. I was still sweating. I was like, it's saying it should be here, but a little bit late or something. But no, they're here. They're here. I'll have plenty of copies at the con. I'll also probably bring. I think I have just like a handful of our DVDs. I'll bring like these mini posters I have too that I use. I'm done with 1983 in film. I can bring my 1983 mini posters. I've still got the ones from 1961 as well. So you can take your pick. Beast of Yucca Flats or Staying Alive, or both. I'll try to remember to take some of those with me too. But oh yeah, plenty of books. And I'm also doing Planet Funk Con at the end of next month. It's up in the air whether I'll be at Grand Rapids. I think Grand Rapids is November. So the rest of Channel Awesome will be there with me. it'll depend on how things are going here at the house and everything. So it's kind of up in the air right now whether I'll be there, but I'll try. And if I am, all the cons, I'll have some books. So for obvious reasons, my amount of conventions is fairly limited the rest of the year. But come next year, I'll also be doing a lot more, so I can take the book around and simultaneously writing my second book too. Okay, Nick W goes, love your movie reviews. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Not everyone does. I see the shenanigans that go on in the comments. Well, not usually. Actually, I really don't hang out in the comments very often. I do at first, so I can make sure like everything's right with the video, because if there is something wrong with the upload, the commenters are great. They'll tell you quick. It's really, really convenient. And I see the ones that get hit by like the spam filter that go into our like needs approval section. Like once a week I try going through there, which there was when I reviewed Sound of Freedom. There was a lot. There was quite a bit. Every single one of them more hilarious than the last. I have never been called pro sex trafficking so much in my life. For a movie I gave a C to, a mere C. Clearly, that means I support the villains of the film if I'm lenient on it. I didn't love it and give it 4 stars. I gave it a middle of the road C and said, I don't know, maybe wait for streaming. That clearly means I side with the sex traffickers in the film. Obviously, what else could it mean? That's the new rule we're going with. If you dislike something that has an important topic, that means you're part of whatever the villains are doing. Whew, good thing I liked Black Klansman. God, those were funny. There was a lot in the filter section. Robert Hayes goes, he says, I did do it. I did make a very good indie in Suburban Nights. I did, yeah. I could have named him after my character in Suburban Nights. That's true. I'll pass along the hat to him. I think I've still got that hat somewhere. This would be the beginning of Last Crusade. Matt Florent says, what's your favorite Italian Jaws ripoff? Oh, Bruno Mattei's. Bruno Mattei's Jaws knockoff. It's great. Stars a guy who looks kind of like Hulk Hogan, another guy who looks kind of like Matt Damon. It samples not the Jaws theme, but the Star Wars theme a couple of times, and they take the mafia subplot that was in the book, but not adapted for the Spielberg version. It takes the mafia plot, they put it in the Bruno Mattei version. Jaws 5 Cruel Jaws, that's what it's called. And it uses stock footage from Great White. Yeah, I think. It uses the shark pulling down the helicopter. It uses that stock footage. Oh, yeah. That was an early Snob episode, too. I did an episode on that back in the days where YouTube videos could only be 10 minutes. That was when I did Jaws 5. Danny McGraw goes, hello, Brad. I love the name Jack. Me too. He goes, I was guessing Dean Jones. I grew up watching Dean Jones movies. If you put on a Dean Jones movie, you know something very wholesome and hilarious is going to happen. Dean Jones helped raise so many of us. Me with That Darn Cat, The Ugly Dachshund, The Love Bug. Then he gave us nightmares with Beethoven, but that's okay. He was great in Beethoven. Dean Jones. I'm cool with it. So, interesting enough. I don't know if I would go with the name Dean, because the first movie I did, I play a character named Dean who was a real-life serial killer. And yeah, in my second movie, I played a character named Jack who was also a serial killer. But something about Dean where I'm like, no, that's too much of a name that I played where I was a serial killer. probably because it was based on a real guy. He goes, also, what's the worst Christmas movie you watched for the snob? Santa's Christmas elf named Calvin. Here's the thing about that movie. It was hard to get through because it was an entire movie of still shots. And I didn't know that until I sat down to watch it. I picked it because it was a Barry Mahan film, and he did like, the Thumbelina and Jack and the Beanstalk shorts that are in the Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny. He did a lot of far out stuff, and a lot of it has tons of material, which this did too. But I mean, I saw still shots of the movie, but I thought when I put the movie in, the still shots would be in motion. So and it was long, like longer than, not long. It was like maybe 70 plus minutes, but that is too long for a movie that is nothing but still shots. I respect the attempt. I will say this, as hard as it was to watch and as long as it felt to watch it, it was easy to edit. It was a really easy snob episode to edit because, again, it's just still shots. So I could like cut and trim something and you wouldn't really be able to tell. Okay. Eclectic Inui goes, there's apparently a character in Oliver Stone's Nixon named Jack Jones. He's a banker played by Larry Hagman. Oh, perfect! Who doesn't love Larry Hagman? I grew up with two kinds of Larry Hagman. The lovable romantic lead in I Dream of Jeannie and J.R. Ewing. So, okay, knowing it's named after Larry Hagman character, perfect. Then he asked me if I saw Nixon. I saw Nixon. I saw it in the theater when it came out. Went to go see it with my mom and my aunt. Haven't seen it since. I remember thinking it was okay. I remember being surprised Norm Macdonald is in it and playing it straight. Like, yeah, Norm Macdonald is in that movie. Since we've settled on a name, Jack Jones, Laura and I are like crossing our fingers that there isn't some like mass murderer or serial killer in the next 2 months who is named that. Please, 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 please. We'll see some zany story on the news that's like 12 dead after man releases pack of rabid squirrels into movie theater. Like, it's gonna be named Jack Jones, isn't it? Damn it. All right, fine. Jim Jones. Okay, Mr. North Canada says, no question, just been watching you since 2008. Ooh, the early days. The me being overweight and me having hair years and sitting on the floor. Oh, you even bought a Bruno Mattei Show t-shirt. That's right. We did have Bruno Mattei Show shirts. I should try to find the file for that and maybe sell those again. Those were good-looking shirts. I liked that. I might have to take since I haven't done an episode on that show in like 10 years, maybe take out the and show on there and have it just be Bruno Mattei. But yeah, shit, I might want to order myself one of those too. He says, glad you're succeeding at your life. You've introduced me to so many movies that I've shown my friends. Thanks for the memories. Well, thank you. Thanks for watching for so long. I still get 15, 16 years I've been doing it. Wait 15 more years when I'm 57 years old, and I'll have my second book. Jacob Matthew Crawford goes, hey, Brad, as we approach October, do you think a review of David Cronenberg's The Brood is a possibility? Maybe for a Patreon poll. Yeah, I would really like to do that. In fact, I think it is one of the Toxbox choices is The Brood. I'm playing October by ear. Like, it's going to get to a point to where, like, the due date is October 1st, so there might be a lot of repeats in October as far as the show goes. They're just like smaller videos because I still got to work, but it might be a lot of smaller videos. Even Musical March in September is up in the air, only because I'll definitely still have episodes in September. It isn't a question of that. It's more so wanting to put up some stuff in September that has some more reach, some more maybe rewatchability or something. So I'm thinking about doing some double feature episodes on like a lot of stuff from 1983 because it'll tie in with 1983 in film. So maybe like an episode, for example, like a double feature episode on like the big score with Fred Williamson and Deadly Force with Wings Hauser. Maybe a 3D double feature or something, or like My Tutor and A Night in Heaven. Those kinds of double features. I might do that in September because I love doing Musical March in September. I do. They aren't our most popular batch of episodes. They really are. I just love doing them. And so, you know, the people who love those episodes, they really, really, really do dig those episodes. So I might have to push Musical Month back a handful of months. I don't want to wait a whole year. Maybe I'll even just do it in March this time. That way I can focus on doing some longer content in September that can carry me through time that I'll be taking off. So might not be some musicals that month, but eventually there will be, and eventually we'll be bringing back the Toxbox choices again. Just got to get a lot of like necessary ones out of the way. I just put up an episode. I'm wanting to do some episodes to where I can kind of finish out a series. That way, if I gotta take like a week off from the snob, I can put up like a compilation video. So Monday is Left Behind 3. That way, months go by. If I need something up, I can do a compilation video of Left Behind 1, 2, and 3. You know, I'll do Carnosaur 3 coming up here soon. I'll do Crackerjack 3 coming up here very soon. I say Left Behind 3 will be up on Monday, but it's already going through copyright appeal right now, like the second one did, where it took me a while to be able to release the second one. So it's kind of going through that. So if it's still in copyright limbo on Monday, I'll do my live stream on Monday instead. M says, been watching Cinema Snob since high school and got into exploitation films. You were a huge influence. Thank you. He just wanted to say thank you, and is in college now and studying English and film. Well, I hope I helped with that. If there's any tests revolving around specific details in any Sasquatch porno, just remember everything I taught you, my son. Robert Hayes goes, real thoughts on Superman 3 and Helen Slater's Supergirl. It's been a while since I've seen Superman 3. What I remember liking the most was all the stuff with evil Superman, like fixing the Leaning Tower of Pisa and all that. That stuff I thought was really, really fun. And Faye Dunaway was awesome in Supergirl. And so was Peter O'Toole being drunk off his ass in the film. Those were the best parts of those films, or what I remember the most about them. Don't remember liking them necessarily. I remember the giant VHS box for Supergirl that always stuck out when I was at the video store. Same with the clamshell of Superman 3. Green Room 1988 goes, oh, you found the review of Miami Connection. I'm glad that was up there. I wasn't sure if it was, again, got hit by copyright, and I had no idea. He goes, I feel obligated to tell you this. My son's name is Jack, and all my furniture is broken. Buckle up, and I love the rambling. Well, thank you. That's the best. I hope people love the rambling, because whether I want to or not, I will start rambling in these. Some episodes are more rambly than others. But the furniture is fine. We've got Siamese cats, so whether it's the baby or the Siamese cats, the furniture will end up being very, very clawed up. Okay, I think I got the last batch in here. Okay, Eclectic Ennui goes, what happened to the Cinema Snob sofa chair? So you might, oh, it's still at the studio. I still have the Snob room over at the studio. Just the studio's been having to go through, it got hit with this big storm that happened some months ago. So a lot of us haven't been able to film inside there till that's all fixed and the warehouse is fixed. A lot of our different filming areas, there's just some different renovations and stuff going on there. So that was why you'll notice that like halfway through 1983 in film, I had to write it in that I'm now in here doing it, which it's actually been kind of convenient filming in here. Like it is like, oh, I can finish watching the movie, writing the episode, and just go in the next room. And this background ain't so bad. It's okay. As long as, Lloyd and Chloe are back there and some big boxes and all that. No, it's cool. I don't know if you can see it, but there is the Caligula poster back up there still. I did order my mini posters for 1962 so I can start doing 1962 in film. Yeah, so I can start doing 1962 in film. So that'll be up in the background before too long. Eclectic Ennui goes, Norm Macdonald isn't in Nixon. Are you thinking of someone else? Norm Macdonald is in Nixon. Norm Macdonald is in Nixon. Trust me, he's in Nixon. I don't want to pick up my phone, but I'm like, even though I'm 100% sure, I don't know if I'm living in some Berenstain Bears thing going on right now. But Norm Macdonald is in Nixon. Not in it for very long. He's in it for a few scenes. I can't even remember the character's name he plays, but like I said, it's funny seeing him play a role fairly straight, even though he's not in it very often. Drunken Buddha says, Pierre Kirby Jones could fight ninjas with Bert and Pearl. Pierre Kirby Jones. Pierre Jones, that's not bad. That's not bad. Like I do kind of like that. I don't know if I could convince my wife of that. But okay, so Laura, she might actually be okay with it. It's not good. It's Jack, but like for the sake of argument, let's say I wanted to approach her about saying Pierre Jones. She might be okay with it until she found out the context. And I'll be like, oh great, sweet. It's this cool ninja actor from the 80s that I like a lot. She would be instantly out right after that. And he would not be named Pierre Kirby Jones. So, okay, it looks like that's all we got for the super chats. Okay, we'll go ahead and get on out of here. Let me try moving this window over here again without knocking shit over like I just did. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for the super chat questions. Thank you for being in here and hanging out with me. And thank you to the person in the comments who will write down the time code for when I mention my son's name, and also when I remember that it was James Johnson in Guyana, Cult of the Dam. Okay, one more, then we'll get out of here. Sailor Edelise says Jack Jones is the name of a famous singer, so that's all right. So he goes, so that kid's definitely going places. He will have some kind of good voice. Says, love your videos. Your personality is always fun to watch. Sometimes, only when I'm on camera. He'll have a decent voice with him being my son. Either for I'm not a great singer. I'm only okay at singing if I'm any good at impersonating the person I'm singing. So I'm really good at impersonating Neil Diamond, so I can sing Neil Diamond songs. Sometimes I'm okay at Elvis. My own singing voice, not really. Just kind of mimicking, I'm all right at sometimes. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope you have a great week, and come see me at Peoria Comic and Toy Show this weekend, where I'll be signing copies of the book. Have a great weekend.
Fat cake, fat. Come everybody, come join the party.